Next up, we're making a full grain natural Italian leather watch band for the Apple Watch Ultra, which I think is deserving of something a little bit more minimalist as opposed to all the pops of color you've recently seen on the channel between Bordeaux and olive green and the Almo. The natural is a lot more simplistic, it's a lot easier to get behind, and this one's got ivory stitching, which just is the perfect complement to the natural leather. I think, in my opinion, ivory is the best stitching color for this leather, but I'd love to hear what you guys think in the comments below. There's, after all, 15 different stitching colors to choose from. So take a look at the site, let me know which color you would pick with the natural, and in the meantime, I'm going to show you how this guy gets made. Let's get started. On the topic of stitching color, if you're interested in the natural band and you want my opinion, ivory, like I said, is my favorite color for natural, but if you wanted to do something a little bit more monochrome instead of having that pop of contrast, even though the leather itself is a natural and very light leather, the ivory is still sort of a contrasting color to choose. Now, if you're looking for something more monochrome, light brown is definitely a good way to go. Now, something that you'll notice all along this video, and I'll point it out once we get there, is natural leather like this one here ages to become more of a dark or medium brown, I'll say. It starts off in this yellowish kind of creamy color. It will age in a way that turns it to a light brown and then eventually a medium-ish brown. So if you're looking for something more monotone, a light brown thread will just kind of beat you to the punch in terms of patina. It'll stand out a little bit once the watch is absolutely brand new, but after a couple of months, I'd say 6 to 8 months of use, it'll start to blend in more. And then once, you hit a year, 2 years in, and the watch is a darker brown, the light brown will have a little bit more contrast against it. So this leather ages, I will say, kind of a lot more drastically than some of the other ones. One of the other bands I've seen age pretty drastically is the walnut, but it stays true to its brown nature over time. It just gets darker. So natural goes through kind of an evolution, I will say. So ivory is also a thread color that if you find yourself getting dirty a lot, it's basically white. So ivory can definitely pick up some dirt and can be a little bit tougher to clean, or keep clean rather, but definitely a more beautiful thread color. Here's what I'm talking about. What you see right now is the brand spanking new natural Minerva watch band in my stitching pony. Do you see where that 80 Proof Goods logo is right there, where it's attaching to the watch band? That's the same leather. That has been, in use for about a year now, maybe a year and a half. So, and it takes a beating. I do not clean it. I do not take care of it. It's just there to make sure the leather doesn't get scratched from the wood. So you can see it gets pretty dark. So it's a totally drastic difference. And after all, I know we don't like thinking about it, but the leather is skin. Skin gets tan. Skin gets burnt in the sun. It changes color in the sun. And leather is no different. That's exactly what leather is. So if you treat it right, you use a leather balm. If you keep it clean, if you take care of it and hydrate it, rehydrate it after a while, it can hold a color pretty well and look pretty damn good. Ivory, again, my favorite, but I'd love to hear in the comments what you guys think. I said earlier in the beginning that there's about 15 different stitching colors to choose from, and I say about because sometimes I take a stitching color off or I'll add some stitching colors on later on, so around 15 different colors. Ivory is my first choice. Light brown will be my second choice for a more monochrome. If you want something that's out of the box, citrus. Citrus looks awesome too. Drop a comment below, let me know what you think. I'd love to hear it. And I actually think that it looks really good on the Ultra.